What's up, hatters and hatters, it's TheDarkHatty here, and welcome to a video. Now, the first thing you may have noticed is that the intro rolled instantly, and I didn't do the normal roll the intro thing, which means this is not a Nebulous video, and this is not an LP, it's not anything like that. In fact, you may have thought it was PvP, but it's not PvP. The second thing you may notice is the fact that I'm in a very large stone hole in the ground on Minecraft, and I'm holding an arrow. And you'll also notice that I'm also holding all the things that I had for the Nebulous episode from the other day, which means you know that I'm in the test world, and you know that this is going to be Voxelsniper related. Now, welcome to my Let's Build. Now, today I've decided we're gonna make my test world into a very beautiful custom made world, and I'm going to talk you through it bit by bit, telling you how I do things, and then you can kind of look at it, and if you like you can give me tips and tricks and all sorts. And we're going to do different things. We're going to add mountains, we're going to have the big canyon. Now I've already got one canyon, and I'm going to move this over to another world, but at the moment I'd like to have it in my test world, because at the moment this series is just that, a test world. Now, you can follow along with me, and you can do your own things. Now, just remember, because I'm using Voxelsniper and the brushes that I'll be using, if you do want to follow along and try and make your own canyon, your canyon will not actually look like mine. In fact, it will be very unlikely your canyon look anything like mine at all. So, just be wary of these things. Okay? Now, what I'm going to start by doing is opening up my GUI, this by pressing V on the Voxelsniper menu, and then I want to go to the Terraforming and just hit blend. Now, blend is my favorite brush for this kind of thing because it's simple, it kind of does everything that I want it to do, and it gets things going pretty quickly. I'm then going to use the brush to, I believe, is it the arrow? No, that's the wrong one. To use the gunpowder, and I'm just going to click everywhere for starters, just in this one area, this one massive area, and it's going to take some time to load up, but once it does, it's going to look less like a big flat surface that it did before, and more like a bit random. There, see, you've got little areas starting to form out already. I'm just going to keep doing this for a little bit. Now, when I suggest, if you do want to follow along, don't start with a small area. Now, I know most people say, right, you've got to start off small and work your way up. I suggest not doing. If you want to make a canyon, work from the very beginning at a big rate. You've got more to work with, and if you mess up somewhere, it's not going to show up as much. Also, if you work with a smaller area, I feel like canyons don't work very well with it. So go all out, just do big, and go crazy with it. I also suggest you use the Voxelsniper GUI from the Voxel mod pack. It makes things a lot more comfortable. You don't have to try and memorize all the commands for Voxelsniper, and you could just kind of get into it straight away. Now, this is going to be part of a series where I'm going to try and make this entire world, but at the same time, throughout the world, we're going to have different areas which are people's base from Hermitcraft. So this is part of the Recreating Hermitcraft series. In fact, this is probably episode 1 of it. And this test world will be shared by several people. So this is kind of the first pilot episode showing you how I make Biffa's Bowl. This is Biffa's Bowl at the moment. We're then going to have some mountains and all sorts leading over to another place for someone else to live. And I'm thinking the second project after Biffa's Bowl will likely be the Hypno's Jungle Temple, which I'm going to do off in the distance. Now, it's not the first canyon I've got to do. In fact, I've got another canyon that I kind of need to do and build up and make really big. But at the moment, I'm just waiting for the sizes for this. If you want the size of this canyon, it's roughly 300 blocks wide and 300 blocks deep. If you want to do this using Voxelsniper, which I suggest you don't, because it can crash a server when you try and do that, I'd go with, I believe it's a radius of 150, so that's kind of what you want to go with. I'm not that good at maths, so ignore it. Right, okay, so now we have this big nice area. It doesn't exactly look wild, so now we're going to switch to the arrow, and we're just going to smooth over it. a little bit and just kind of blends out the area, makes it look a bit more like an actual cliff face really. And these bits where it kind of sticks out, it's better to bring out the areas underneath it a little bit, just kind of gradually bring it out, then kind of flatten it into the wall, because although you don't want to do that, which I just did, although that seems to work. Yeah, be careful of how you brush some of the areas out. Some of it can mess up, some of it won't. If you do make a mistake, you can either undo it or you can try and figure out a better way to kind of implement the mistake, because not everything is a mistake. In the end, you could do something by accident and realize that it does generally look a little bit better. So at the end of every video that I do of one of these, you should know that there will be other videos to come along, because I'm going to walk you bit by bit through the creation of the canyon. Now, these videos will be fairly long. They're not going to be short videos, as you probably noticed already from the video, and they won't be really cutish ones, although I'm probably going to do one area and then I'm going to go, and this is one that I made earlier, you know, that kind of thing. So we're just going to finish this area and then I'm going to cut ahead to doing the rest of the area, and I'll explain how I then work from there. So I'm pretty happy with this area now. As you can see, it kind of looks like a canyon wall, slightly random. There's some areas nearer to the top which are kind of longer and flatter and have got more of that look to them, and then as it gets to the bottom, it just kind of gradually moves in. Around the bottom, we're going to add something in, and we're going to kind of design that nicely, but it's more to what the other guys working on this project want to do for that, really, so I can't really comment on that. But anyway, now that I've got that done, I'm going to cut ahead and finish the rest of the area, so I'll be back in just a tick. So one thing I thought I'd mention while I'm working on this area, just trying to get it right, is when it comes to Voxelsniper and using the blend brush, it's very difficult to give you tips. Now, I can tell you kind of what you should be using and how you want to do it, but when it comes down to it, it's more to how do you want it to look. Like, I know exactly how I want this canyon to look in the end, so I'm kind of shaping it around, and if something doesn't look right to you, fix it how you want to. Use the blend brush to bring it out, undo things, redo things, I don't know, it's up to you. And let me just make time set 0. And you can get people to come and look at it and just comment on it, but in the end, it's like drawing a picture. You know what you want to draw. Nobody else knew what was going on inside your head at the time, so you kind of need to just relax. It's very nice to have some music on and just go with the flow, really, and enjoy yourself while you do it. Like, terraforming isn't a serious act. It's kind of that relaxing, peaceful part of Minecraft, because you really end up making some really beautiful things when you use Voxelsniper, I find. Like, the canyons that I've started making after someone suggested trying to make a canyon have been really beautiful, in my opinion. Like, they're not just like mountains, really nice. I can make some really decent mountains, but these canyons, they're just gorgeous the way that they look. Like, they really stand out, the way that they flourish with nature when I put it on. The waterfalls and everything else just look kind of smooth and gentle and kind of perfect for the art, for the way the eye looks at it. So anyway, like I said, I'm gonna skip ahead and do the rest of this, and I'll be back in a bit. Okay then, so I kind of finished it up. There are some bits and bobs that need touching up, like up there. I'm not a big fan of that. So as you can see, the size of this thing kind of removes all kind of areas that could really really stand out as painful, apart from that bit there. That was awful, that bit. Let me fix this. Kind of give it more shape. There we go. It doesn't look great there, but it removes that horrible mess that was there. So as you can see, this thing's huge, but I managed to do this pretty quickly and without much problems, really. Pretty happy. So anyway, next thing that we want to start doing is we want to start adding some nice kind of depth to it. So I'm going to switch my brush size to 100 here because we need it, and my depth to 3, and we're just going to use dirt first. So if we click up there, eventually you'll see all this starts to turn into dirt, and we're actually going to click on the top layer. See, got all this slowly turning into dirt blocks, and now the dirt actually goes 3 deep into the ground. As you can see, if we look here, it goes 3 down and then it turns into stone. Let me set it back to die. And there are some areas like there that need chipping in, and it's just doing these in very large circles, and obviously we're gonna have to go down, do the lower areas as well, but you just kind of want to go around and get out all the little bits and bobs of the build done, and maybe you're gonna have to do up there again later, just a point. So once you've done that, you then need to go back in, change the depth to 1, and switch to grass, and do the same thing on everything again, and it should change it all on the first layer to grass. And as you can see, it's got all the way down here. If your computer can't handle 100, try switching to 50. It'll take a bit longer, but time, you don't need to rush these kind of things. So I'm gonna finish off doing this, and when I get back it should all be grass. Okay then, so if you look around, you can see we've pretty much got ourselves a canyon. It's nice and grassy. It kind of looks pretty much beautiful already. I'm kind of happy with that. Technically, if I wanted to, I could just leave it alone and walk away now and stop recording, be happy with it, pack up this world, leave it alone, without ruining anything. But I'm not going to do. We're going to add more to this. We're going to have vegetation. We're going to have some kind... In fact, what I want to do is I want to turn this rather into just a normal looking canyon into something much more. But we're not going to work on that today, because this was just basically getting down the basics of forming the shape of your canyon. Look around, pretty basic canyon. Now you could make this absolutely spectacular. You could go all out with some advanced brushes, but at the moment just the blend and the overlay brush is all you need to make this kind of shape, which looks just as good as anything that you could ever need, and it will impress people. And basically all you've done is clicked a couple of times, so there you go. There's your canyon. So anyway, if you want to see the more advanced stuff, you'll have to wait until next episode. But until then, don't forget to follow me on Twitter at TheDarkHatty. If you do want to watch my content, I do suggest you subscribe to me. But of course, you don't need to if you don't want to. Just come back and check my videos whenever you feel like it. But anyway, guys, this has been TheDarkHatty. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter. I already did that. But anyway, I'm going to get going because I've got dragons to slay, Minecraft, and Pokemon to catch. I love you guys. Bye!